Slept it up, my G's. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to answer some of the comments just from the last 3 days because, well, then there'd probably be so many. But Montana Corp, nice tip. Thank you, sir. DJ Physics, how much do you charge to master a track? Email me, info@artifactmusic.com. And RIP DJ Randall, yeah, super sad to hear about that. He was an absolute legend. I love Randall. I've got loads of his tape backs. Gone but not forgotten. Slurped it up, says Mike. I need to apply this tip to my tracks. This is about the stem mastering and doing some mid-side EQing cuts in the low end as well. It seems to make things more organised. Sometimes I get crazy and end up with 30 tracks. It's hard to figure out what's what. Yeah, when you can consolidate like your main sounds into like a single file, always, it's going to help you finish the song faster. Love Vital, great video. Thank you, Fenex. Congratulations, 1,000 is massive. Yeah, thank you very much. I couldn't also believe that I've done 1,000 videos. I think we're up to like 1,020 something at the moment as well. iMola8 says, I love to listen to D&B tracks since I believe 20 years. They often sound so clean, distinct, clear, but powerful. I agree. I think drum and bass is very competitive production genre, so the quality is probably the highest out of all genres in my opinion. Never really produced D&B myself, but I'm curious about the common D&B tricks to make a great sounding track. How do you actually create that wide stereo sound of mid basses and effects that open up the stereo field? Is this a chorus effect, short reverb, or pan automation? So a couple of points there. Common D&B tricks to make a great sounding track. There's so many. Just if you're looking through my catalogue of videos that I've already done, I've shared most of the tricks that I know already. Yeah, it's all about really filling out the frequency spectrum in the cleanest way possible, making a track very, very dynamic, loud, powerful, having a great sound selection, good concept. There's so many things I could talk about that for an hour. But how do you actually create that wide stereo sound of mid basses and effects that open up the stereo field? It's best if you always have that stereo sound inbuilt into the bass when you're creating it, or you'd pick a sample that already has a great stereo sound. When I'm creating basses, I will try to always make them, I will always really make them in stereo, whether that's in Vital or Phase Plant. And the way that it usually becomes stereo is when you're adding in the unison in the voicing section of the oscillators, for example, or as you said, chorus as well, short reverb as well, convolution reverb, panning automation. Panning automation is not, for me, typically a thing that I focus on because you can quickly ruin the power of the middle part of the sound, the mono signal. So having a great stereo sound, you still got to have also a strong mono powerful sound as well. So you need to have the two together. When you start panning, you're kind of moving away from that mono power a lot of the time. So yeah, subtle bits of chorusing, subtle bits of short reverb, as you mentioned, subtle bits of unisoning in the patch. Those are all great ways to make a stereo sound. And how do you choose kick samples? Are they usually higher in frequency compared to the bass? Like the bass frequency is usually very low and moving your pants while the kick punches you in the gut. Is there a basic recipe to place the two elements in the frequency range? Yeah, this is something that's a really good question actually, and there's different ways to go about it. But for me, the actual frequency range of the kick and the frequency range of the bass can, in my opinion, you can have anything you like for both, because if you do a proper quality side chain so that the bass comes down when the kick hits, then realistically they're not ever going to get in the way of each other. So that's why I like big weighty punchy kicks with like almost a lot of sub in them, and I'm able to leave that sub in the kick and the sub in the bass as well, because I focus on really side chaining the bass a lot so that it really gets out of the way of the kick, so they're not really clashing in, although they occupy the same frequency spectrum. The side chain is making the timing of them so that they don't clash with each other. So in that respect, you can really have a lot of bass in your bass and a lot of bass in your kick. So that's how I go about it. I pretty much do whatever I want and just sidechain it heavier if I have to. And that's my technique. Darotum, my G. Decapitator is a great plugin, I agree. And the sound is nutty on the falafel bass. I'm glad you like that. And yeah, that was inspired by you, that one, from my little TikTok live stream. DJ Physics says, Slurpy Dub, good rundown, bro. This is on the little rundown I did for Gunfinger. Could you do another more in-depth of mid-side and how you use it? Yeah, I've just done that this week already. It's on the channel. Yeah, it cleans a lot of space and adds, I don't know if it necessarily adds depth, but it cleans out a lot of unnecessary content in your headroom. After you added Soothe 2, yeah, I haven't really used Soothe 2. I think it's probably really good. The problem with that is it's an AI thing, and I like to sort of still retain control of all of my exact EQ points on every sound, so I'm not a big fan of AI tools, although they probably do get you good results. It's just not my sort of philosophy to use them when I can avoid it. Yes, learned a lot from your great vids. Thank you, sir. The Slurp. Thank you, Arisha. Mike again. Darotum says, I think you should consistently do more track breakdowns on popular songs. I believe it will grow your channel more. Felt like we haven't had one in a while. Yeah, I've done a few in the past. I think there's a little playlist. I think it's called like Artifact Analysis or something, which is where I've put them all, and there's a really loud siren now, so thank you. Maji, the energy you have is freaking infectious. Thank you, bro. E3, I'm not sure how you say that, unfortunately. Andy Wilson says, oh, now there's a helicopter. It's like I live in the middle of a, I don't know, city. Great breakdown, Mr. Fact. I hadn't really thought about the various sounds as characters in songs, but it totally made sense as you explained it. It's one of those things that is naturally satisfying even when, as a listener, you can't pick why. Big up, G. Yeah, there's so many details and things that go into making a great track that can become a hit, for example. And as like an average listener who's not, really obsessed about music production, all of these little things like that help you enjoy the track, give that like detail in the track that you don't really think about. These are all things that you have to consciously think about and do if you're producing, and if you want to make a good song, you need to put all of that extra detail in, to really stand up with the best, Arisha, no sheep will go astray with the Good Shepherd. Amen to that, brother. Fenex J says, dope patch, less is more on the insane vital bass. Your channel is such a gem. Oh, thank you. That really means a lot, that comment. Glad the algorithm presented it to me. Appreciate the grind to bring us content and more sonic educations. Yeah. There's areas in the field of music production and sonic education where I'm good at, and there's areas where I don't know as much, and I just try to be creative and try to show you the best of what I know to my ability. So thank you for your comment. DJ Physics just replicated it. When you add the distortion, chorus and verb, that's when the sickness kicks in. Yes, especially the distortion and chorus in Vital. They just have the algorithm's just great. It just has such a good sound. That's why Vital's such a classic, because it's not always the case of every effect you use in every different plugin manufacturer or whatever is always going to have a different sound, and the quality of the chorus especially and the distortion in Vital is excellent. Just got the download and have been playing around with it for a few minutes. I generally prefer to make all of my synth patches from scratch, but I might have to make an exception for this one. It's really good. Kudos. Thank you. Yes, I really like that one too, the insane Vital bass. I almost feel like I shouldn't have given that one away, but yeah, it's all good fun. fam, thank you from the Unboxholics squad from Greece. Love following along with Vital as you make. Thanks, bro. You're welcome, DJ Physics. Ryan Anderson says the Killer Hearts bundle is worth the investment. The free bundle is a no-brainer if you don't already have it. Yeah, the free bundle. I mean, I couldn't finish a track without that. The Transient Shaper and the Gain plugin. There's probably a few other ones in there I use on every single product as well. Rico Lee says this is a handy tip with the reverb. also for other genres. Yes, this is on the convolution layering I did on the spicy drum tutorial recently. Thank you, bro. And Malcolm says also, yep, understood. My only concern with doing this, again on the same video, is that I'm adding more frequencies to give space for. And yeah, that is always the problem. The more constant you have, the more yeah, the more chaotic your mix down becomes. With that convolution layering though, as long as you sort of EQ the low end well enough, it's going to be not too difficult to layer those things on top, especially if they're sort of 800 hertz or 1000 hertz and upwards. You know, that's the area of this frequency spectrum where you have really got a lot more space to actually add quite a lot of sounds in. So as long as it's not like overly layering up the low end too much, then you should be all right. MXTR16, nice one, thank you. Nice one also says Zombie, and yes, DMZBDG, thank you. And Arnold Dawson says on the Insane Vital Bass, it sounds like phasers arguing. That's a cool way to look at it, I think. Arnold Dawson again says, cool ideas on the spicy drums. Loop sounds good already. Convolution chopped up adds the extra sauce. And the spicy hot sauce. Oh, I've actually got a spicy hot sauce. This one right here, this is the Red Hot. This was sent to me by Nine Wrenches, a fellow patron supporter from New York. It was actually shipped over from the States, and I love putting this on some of my dishes when I'm doing my little home cooking here in my little kitchen. You also did that to single drums, I remember. I stopped using convolution years ago, better dig it out again. Yes, definitely. I do it to layer up snares, to layer up kicks, to layer up hats sometimes as well. Usually, mostly I'll use it for snares because they're the drum hit that benefits the most from yeah, the most layering and detail usually, you know. In a previous video about a bass you made in Vital yesterday, I think, you had an envelope controlling oscillator 1 at volume at silly speeds. Yes, is that approaching AM rates? I believe it is, yeah. I'm not completely scientifically clued up on that, but I believe that is like amplitude modulation to the max, you know? When you start to really speed up the way that something is modulated at a certain point, it sort of starts to starts to enter like a new realm, you know? And that was a fun way in that case on the Vital patch, where I was able to get like a cool pulsing rhythm into the sine wave through having this overly excessively fast amplitude modulation. So yeah, it is a form of amplitude modulation, absolutely. Great spot. And again, Arnold Dawson says, when I first heard that, I wouldn't have guessed it was text to wavetable. Oh, you've really commented on a super old video. I don't remember what that was about. Okay, again though, Arnold Dawson, thank you. Cool, I'd like to get Phase Plant. That Venus Theory geezer, he's a sound design composer on YouTube, uses that, think he swears by it. Looks pretty cool. I can't read today, I'm sorry. Looks pretty cool. He was where I heard about Vital. Okay. On a different note, well, slightly connected as it's free, have you tried Acon Digital Multiply? No, never heard of it. I'll have a look at that. I've picked it up again, forgot how cool it is. Maybe it's something you might like. It's a multi-tap delay type thing, but capable of chorus dimension kind of things. EQ section within it makes it very shapeable. Sweet, I'll take a look at that. And I think Phase Plant 100% is worth it. I've been very fortunate to get Phase Plant directly from Kilohertz because I make a lot of content for them. So big shout out to the Kilohertz gang, great company, and very kind. And the only reason I would advocate it and the reason I use it so much is because of the options you have with it in creating sounds, you know. So there's so many good synths out there and I haven't tried all of them, but just with Vital and Phase Plant alone, those two, I've got so many like there's so many options of sounds to create. I could, you know, do that for years with those two. You know, even with Vital, it's quite a simple synth, but sometimes I come back to it and I've got another new idea on how to use it in a different way, you know. But phase plant is always a new sound every time, you know. It's just a little bit more complicated. Right, I say complicated, it can become more complicated. You don't have to make your sound complicated. You can use basic synthesis principles and still make a great sound without overdoing things, you know. But just the fact that you have the granular generator alone, so good for, yeah, just combining that real sample with synthesis and having like multiple lanes of distortion so you can resample within the synth is something that makes it better than Vital. Yes, so Alex says, wow, lol, thank you. And finally, Paul Tusby says, I've been trying to build all mid-side stuff into the initial sound design. Okay, that's difficult to do sometimes, especially in the sub frequencies. I feel just EQing out the sides what mono speakers already do themselves, and you can still end up with the same phasing issues. I started to build my mono and side signal independently for sounds in the low end, and while it takes more to set up, I found the end result a lot more easy to use. You could even make stereo subs with that method, which still sound fine in mono, although you definitely lose headroom with that. Yeah, it depends on also what you're using to make your sounds. Obviously that's a bit harder in Vital, but I think in phase plant you can do mid-side EQing inside the synth, I believe, I'm not sure. Or yeah, or obviously you can create your sub bass just as a mono wavetable, and then your extra harmonic ones as a stereo one, and then filter them, you know, separately. There's many ways to do that, and yeah, that can be good. For me, I don't always so much worry about that, you know, real. That's like for me, that mid-side EQing kind of thing is a real last minute mix down thing always, you know. It's kind of something I think about later on usually. When I'm in the sound design zone, I tend to abandon all rules and concepts, you know. It's really yeah, when I'm doing sound design, I try to break every single rule, because that's the way that I will get the most unique sounds. But yeah, either way, it's all good, baby. All right, thank you, my G's, for all these comments. They've been wonderful. Yes, and I hope you have, yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them on the channel. If I can't get around to everyone, I'm sorry. But yeah, much love, my G's. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Peace out.